Alright, we're back at it again. So get back on this tranny. See if we can get this thing finished up tonight. Not freezing to death. Okay, this is our Tatro washer here. So I'm going to go ahead and use that one for now. I think that'll be a little bit better than the other one. Okay, so this is pretty well set up here. Everything is working like it's supposed to. Pull this apart. So your thrust washer has to come out before the clutch will come out. And it comes straight up. Okay, this is the old one, which we're not going to use because it's junk. Kinds of dirty rags down here to use. Okay, so this is set to go together. Alright, so all the pre-fitting I think is done. On that part. Jump out of the way. Okay, next thing we gotta do is put in our case seal over here. This big one. And the cork seal that seals the seal. And then there's another seal that goes in high gear right here, which is not this big one. It'll be this little dinky one in here. These here for later trannies. This is 80, 81, this is 82, 3, 4, somewhere in the area. That's for the clutch pushrod seal. If I had the nut, we'd be using that. And this is for a later model bike. We're not using that. So, there's all the different seals we don't use. We're not going to be using this big one here either. One kit fits everything, so you always have a lot of stuff left over. What else do we got? Ooh, that's a new solenoid quad seal. I keep those, those are good. Yeah, they give us some locks to use. That's nice. We'll use those. That was nice and give you all those. That makes nice. And then we get all this extra crap over here to use too. Okay, there's our seal for the high gear. Which, surprised they give us that because we didn't know we needed it until we bought the high gear. That'd be not this one though. Where's the high gear? We're using this gear. Yeah. So this one we're not using. Get that out of the way. Alright, so we use some of that. There's a couple of those. Okay, we're not using cowpie. We're using these two here. They're getting pretty fancy on painting on their silicone now. Guess that makes it better. Who knows? Some of that we'll use, some of that we're going to use. Here we use, we take the ratchet lid apart if we do. If we don't, we're not using those either. So this stuff here we're not using. That we're not using. This stuff here we might use. Using this, this, and some of that. Definitely using this. Okay, so this is our junk pile here. We're not using this stuff. Half the seals there we're not using. Okay, we're going to use this out. Plus we got this here too. Okay. Alright. What did I do with the seal? I just had it. Oh, what did I do with the damn thing? I lost it. Where did it go to? Hide it from myself. It's right here. Okay, so this here we got to put on there. Now these you're supposed to put in here 50 thou below the surface, but nowadays if you go below the surface, this doesn't work. So gotta be careful about going below the surface. Okay, this one's a cork seal. It goes in here first. And that's what seals the OD of this. So in case all this fancy blue stuff here don't work, that'll work. And I need this seal race. And phone ringing again. Hello. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, we're back. You didn't get through 5 minutes there before interrupted. There's a new O-ring I need. Okay. All right. Okay, we need this O-ring. So we got to put the O-ring over here on top of here where it belongs. Okay, now you got to try to make sure there's no twist in this thing. So usually what I do is I take my fingernail, I run it all the way around the whole circle on the outside edge, or the inside edge in this case. And then I come around the other way and do it on the inside edge, or outside edge in this one. I get that backwards, don't I? Okay, we're trying to work the twist out of the O-ring. Okay. Then we have to go ahead and put this inside the case. We have to push this together as a unit like this. It has to go over that O-ring when we do this. We put this in after we put this all in. How'd that get in the wrong spot? Did I push that in backwards? That was a bad job of installation of that cork over there. Okay, we got to make sure this clears the cork, which it does. Put a little grease on here to lube it. I always lube up my seals too. Okay. You gotta put this in here. So you gotta compress the seal with your fingers here, trying to get it so you don't fold the lip up. I'm gonna take your thumbnail or a little screwdriver to make sure it pops in there. And make sure you don't invert it. If you invert it, it doesn't work. Wipe off the excess on the outside edge because we don't need that mess. Okay, so this part's all installed now. And now we lay this on top of our case. And it's ready to go together. We got this here for our high gear. We got to put this in too. Make sure you cover up your grease over there so you keep the dirt out. Okay, so all of this is ready to go over to the press and do a little pressing on it. Fun job. Alright, lay that right here. Okay, we got a couple tools now to do some pressing with. So, first one. This is the one for installing the seal below the surface, which doesn't work too good anymore. So be careful with that. I need my big one. It's over here. This one to push the case seal in and recesses it in the case. So these two here we need. Bang the camera. Alright, so now we go over here. Alright, I should be able to see over here pretty good. Hopefully. Okay, we're going to do this one first, the gear. At least seals like to wad up in here, so you want to make sure you push it straight. Not going. It is going, just doesn't feel like it's going. It takes a lot of pressure to get the pop all the way around, so it's in there right now all the way around. So now you just gotta, once it go pop, it'll go past it, it'll go in. There's a certain amount of pressure I'm not feeling and I'm already there. Okay, there it's in flush. So now the seal's in there flush with the edge. Now you can't recess it because if you look where the seal lip is, it's right up against the bushing in here. Get where you can see it. So if you recessed it to see it would jam into the bushing, pull out like that, and it would never work. So on these, with no more recession in the case, you go flush. So this is flush. I'll leave it at that. You can see you want to make sure that seal lip does not bind up on the bushing. If it does, the bushing's in too far. Okay, so that one's done. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one over here. Push this in. Okay. Using no more. Okay, light it all up, go on in. It's pretty hard right there, so you stop. Okay, so that's all the way in now. So we're basically flush with the surface. We didn't go any deeper, but that's where it stopped at. If I keep crushing it, it'll just collapse the seal, not work right. Now I gotta look at where the slip up is here. So this slip is barely on the seal right now. So it really needs to go down a little bit further than what it is. So I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. So this is cut away for the steel race to be on the inside of this here. This part pushed on the seal, and this side here is our stop on the outside of the case. I'm going to go down a little bit deeper. Now it's going to crush everything in. That's a lot of pressure. About 2.5 tons of pressure there. So basically it squashed the seal a little bit flatter. Don't really want to go any deeper. This still has a movement to go up and down, which is what you want to see. You want to have that crushed flat. I gained just a little bit more area where that seal's on there. That's why I went a little bit deeper. I want to make sure it was on top of the seal race and not on the edge of it. So it's in there now. Okay, so everything's made a little bit different than it used to be. So it used to be you crush this in flat, everything worked perfect, but obviously not that way anymore. All right, take this stuff back. Oh, everything's dragging on everything. All right, camera goes back over here. Back to work. Okay. Now we need to go ahead and install the gear in here and all those loose rollers. So what I do is I stack them up in here in the case. You put a bunch of lube inside the case, race in here. And you stack all the rollers in there, and then lube them up some more, and then you put the gear in there. The grease is going to hold the rollers in there where they need to be. Hopefully, anyway. Damn jacket's in the way. But it's stinking cold in here, so gotta have it. Okay, so you take the grease, you stick a good layer of it up in there. Pack all your rollers in there. You put them from this side or the other side, your choice. I just slide them across the race here, stack them up, and slip them all in there. Seems to work a little easier for me. Everybody has a different technique. Use whatever works for you. Just a couple at a time works pretty easy to control 2 of them. Just pop them in and slide them next to the other ones. If you try to do 3, you wind up with an extra one. 2 works best. So I'm just laying them in there on the back side in there. I don't know if you can see them in there, but that's all you're doing. Okay. Okay, they're all in there now. Stacked up in there. So you take some more grease, put some more in there. That way they're all loaded in there, packed in pretty hard. You take this, lubricate this all up too while you're here. Make sure you put some on this O-ring right here because you have to push it over that race. You don't want to tear up the O-ring. There's no way of telling the O-ring's torn up because you won't be able to see it. You got oil grease inside your bushing here, so make sure they get full of grease in there. Okay. Get my hands well lubed up. Okay, now I just take this and slip it on in there. Just kind of rotate a little bit, kind of get the slide in. We gotta get over the seal race, and the seal race was tight because it was out of round. There it goes. take my spacer, which is basically duplicates the sprocket. Put that in there. Take our nut. Put it in and tighten it up a little bit. Socket we need. I loaned down my other one, the guy hasn't brought it back yet. So much for a day or so, it's been a week. Remember that when you loan your tools out. Okay, let's tighten this up, see what happens. Okay. Seems to rotate correctly. Don't really feel it in play, but I can see it moving. Grease everywhere. Wipe that off. The blue grease sticks out like a sore thumb. Okay, so it seems to be working correctly. There's your gear in there like that. Not dragging or anything, so that's a good sign. Means we can move on. Okay. So I got to move on to our main shaft group. That'd be your first and second gear cluster, your third gear, snap ring, and washer we already have pre-made. Then we got our ball bearing, or our retainer piece, I guess you call that. There's another retainer on that. Okay, now, sometimes these fit through the case over here, like this one does. Okay, so that means you can actually put this together right now if you want to. You can actually assemble this thing up onto here, tighten this nut up right now. So you can go in there and you can push this on with a press if you want to do it that way. Tighten this nut up and this whole thing will slide in as a unit. So you can only do that when you pre-make everything. Otherwise you got to put this in a little piece at a time. So we're going to try it the quick way and see if that works. Okay, now I need something to go over this here to push against. Figure out what I'm going to use. Probably can use my gear right here, I bet. Nope, can't use that. Okay, so just going to put this in the press and press down on it. See how that works. Okay, right there. Let's see, what are we going to use here? Okay, I got this bearing racer right here I found. I will flip over this so I know I won't screw it up when I push on this. And this will push on the bearing on the inside where you want to. So I can push on this and that'll stay where we want it to be. So that makes it a little bit easier to do this. Alright. This is is all done upside down, like this. Go a little bit of time, let it self-center. All the way down, you stop. Okay, so now our bearing's installed right now. So you can put the nut on here if you want to. See how that worked in there pretty nice. Okay. Little trick to speed things up a little bit. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're still seeing if it's going to work or not. Right now it seems to be, but we're not done yet. Okay, where's our retainer at? Here it is. This is our outer retainer. So there's 4 screws on here, taper head, straight slot. 4 of those and 1 oil slinger piece. So I need to get my tool for tightening these. Okay, we do this with an impact knocker, so make sure your screwdriver slot fits inside the straight slot there. That's how you tighten it. Okay. Now you can tighten this up right now with a nut if you want. Where is my nut? Wrong box. Okay, where's our gasket set? Okay, look to see what locks they gave us. Okay, they don't give me the ones I need. So this is the old lock right here, which is still usable. It's not that old, so we use that. So this goes right in there. You gotta make sure it goes inside the notches right there, the splines. And here's our tapered nut. The taper part goes up. This is standard thread. You want to make sure it clears your retainer, wherever it ran off to. Whatever. Okay, you should clear everything just fine, see? Okay, so we can tighten this up with a nut and then lock the tab on it if we want. This is going to get hard on your fingers, so you got to be careful. So you need a good rag to hold on to. So I guarantee it's going to hurt when it spins on your fingers. So this nut right here goes on here. Lock tab out of the way a little bit. Okay, so you got to be prepared for this thing to spin. You got to hold on to it really tight. If it spins, it hurts you. That's tight. Okay, that nut's now tight. Usually it spins in a rag too, and you're holding on to it like that. If you don't hold on to it really good, it will hurt you, guaranteed. Okay, now we get the lock tab to pop up. Looks like it's the same one here. I'm going to pop. Screwdriver for that. And a pair of channel locks, which are not here yet. Get our channel locks here. Okay, so we're going to try to bend this up. You don't want to be digging into your seal there, it will screw it up. Now, why they got a sealed bearing? That's stupid. I just noticed that too. You don't want to put a sealed bearing into a transmission. How's it going to get oil to it? That doesn't make sense. It should be a shielded bearing, not a sealed bearing. Shielded bearing shields it and keeps stuff from getting in there very much, but it lets oil in. The sealed bearing is not supposed to let anything in. It's supposed to be pre-lubed. So that's not going to work very well. Okay, there's our lock tab in there. So usually when I run across something like this, what I do is I knock the seal off the damn thing. But in this case, I can't get it off because I put the nut on there. I just did that, didn't I? Yeah, I'm a dumbass. So, this being a China part will probably not work very well anyway. Yeah, that was kind of stupid. Let's see here. Well, let's get this out of here. We'll worry about it later. First thing I do is knock the seal out. I'm going to use this to do it. Attempt to do it with this without impaling it into me, which is usually what happens on these deals. Okay, indented it down. This is not going to work very well. Okay, I got past the edge finally. Bring it up. Okay, so this is totally not working because I got this nut in the way, among other things. So now I gotta get this out of the way. Take it back apart. One more tool I don't have. Not helping my case any over here either. Okay, now I get the lock tab off I just put on here. We just did all this, didn't we? Yep. Ah. I didn't squeeze hard enough, so it got me. See, that tears the rag up. It tears up my fingers too. Now, the bench is getting all scraped up here from all the beating on it. Keep the bench clean. Okay, I got that out of the way. Now we got to try to get this piece out of here. Hopefully we're not destroying this bearing doing this, but okay, there's the seal comes out. So that popped right out. Once we get everything out of the way, it comes right off. See, it's got its own grease in there right now. Okay, make sure you didn't do any damage to the seal itself, or the bearing I mean. If you bend the cage up and lock up the ball, you're done. So this one's done now. Okay, so now this is an open bearing, so you get plenty of fluid in it now. You can also get trash and other crap in there too, but oh well. The other trannies had open bearings on both sides. Okay, let's see if I can do this again. Put in by the gear, sliding on the table. Same thing I try to do with my hands. Okay, looks like the same tang here is in the one that's going to go up again. Ah, it hurts. Fingers get nailed. It stings when you do that. If you notice, it took the nail right off the front of the finger. That's how hard it hits you. These things nail you pretty good when they come together. Boom! Fingers getting away. Okay. Okay, so now that's on there tight. Locks on. And you get oil to the bearing now. I didn't change the bearing out because it's a good bearing. It's brand new. So let's keep it. Okay, so this is ready to go into the case now. Finger still stings though. Okay, now we got to put the third gear and all these other parts in here as we go together. And we got to put our high gear shift clutch in here. Now, these are marked which way it goes to the high gear. If it doesn't say high on it, wherever there's a mark, that goes toward high gear. Because this can go on either way. But if you look at how the shift dogs are, see that's back cut right here. If you turn it the other way, see the back cuts on the front. So if this is on your pressure side, that's going to want to wear the gear out. If you put it on this direction, it bites in and makes it engage and makes it work better. See, this is a dog design. It digs in, see. You want to dig into the gear. It drops in and bites into it. If you did it the other way like this, you only got about half of it going in, so it can pop out and start popping out of gear on you. Plus it wouldn't shift in as easy because the ramp's going the wrong way, letting it slide in. High performance gears have these ramps in here, and the stock gears don't, they're flat. That's why these are made to shift better. They also cut the backside out so they can shift better that way. But if you do a lot of downshifting, that can actually wear away and pop out of gear on the downshift when it gets bad. So, like everything, it's plus and cons. Plus and negatives to everything you do. You have to figure out what you want. So for speed shifting, this works nice. If you're a semi-truck downshift and slow down, not so nice. Figure out how you're going to drive. Okay, so now we're back to our grease in here again. Get some lube in here. Lube this gear also, same thing. Okay, make sure a little bit here in the thrust washer area. Don't want that to be dry either. Okay, so now this would go in here like this, but we have to put it in the transmission first. Leave this up here a little bit also. Okay, so everything's lubed up. So you're going to shove this in. All these parts have to go in here as it goes in. Okay. So, got one shaft going in this way. Got a third gear that goes in next. We got a third gear thrust washer. Third gear snap ring that retains everything. And you get your shift clutch, shift dog, whatever you want to call it. So the mark is on this side, so this goes toward high, so it drops in like this. Okay, now everything's kind of slides together as you go into the gear. So it just kind of slips in like that. Okay, now we're going to have to get the washer to go in here and everything else. First thing I do is get the washer to go over the spline. Yes. There it goes. So that slides in first. Don't think you can see much what I'm doing here from this angle. Okay, now don't even need to blow it up now. Okay, so we got the dust washer right there, got it sliding in. Okay, now we get the retainer snap ring here up on top of the gear. Now you notice I got the shift clutch, instead of sticking right there, I engage it in high gear. See, that gives me more room to work. Makes things a little bit easier. I'll put my mess over here. Okay, now I get the snap ring in here. So first thing I do is figure out where it ends at, right there. Okay, so I'm on the spline there, so you got to rotate a little bit. Just keep rotating it like that a little bit. And over here, you kind of come under here and try to make it go up on the next one here if you can. So you do that. Go to the next one. If I had a little scribe tool I had earlier, I can get underneath it and lift it up, but I don't have that here right this minute. Doesn't make it too easy. I'm trying to lift it up, it ain't helping. That ain't working. Okay, went to get my scribe. You can keep fighting it or you just get the right tools. The key is you got to hold it as you go around the circle here. See how much easier it is when you got the right tool. Slips right under it, picks it up, slides it right over. And the last little part's right here. Pop, goes on. Okay, now you got it all on there a little bit. Okay, now you can take your dog, engage it on there. There we go. Okay, now you just push everything in and you just slide the dog with your fingers. Ah, take off another nail while you're at it. Engage third gear, and it goes in further. Okay, is it all the way in the gear? Make sure it's all the way in there. Looks like it is. Make sure it rotates freely. Make sure you have some in play. This one got set fairly tight, so there's not much in there. But you can feel it moving a little bit. Okay, so now that's all in there. You slide the shaft in, make sure the dog stays where it belongs. Now I rotate it so it doesn't line up with the high gear, so it doesn't fall out of engagement. Okay, so that part's in there. So now I go over to the other side of the case, and we have to get this bearing in here. So now we have to get this bearing to go in. So we do that just by beating onto the hammer. can make a nice tube where you just beat them with a tube. I just use my punch. So, get the camera far enough back I don't hit it. Okay, you hit the bearing and race together. Work your way around the circle. Stop. So we're going to look to make sure the dog hasn't popped over there where it gets jammed in there. It's still in there where it belongs. Keep beating on it. It's best to hit on the bearing and not the lip of the case bushing there. You can bend the case piece. The bearing you're not going to hurt. As long as you don't hit the cage and the rollers, you're fine. Okay, another hit or so. You should hear it hit hard ring. That was hard, hard, not hard, 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 hard. Okay, it's all the way in now. You can hit it hard wrap. That means you're in all the way. Okay. Now you got your retainer piece. It goes in and it retains it. Now there should be a flat spot right here for this piece. It looks like this. See, it goes like that, so it keeps them together. So that's how it goes. There's also a flat spot over here. It's got another flat spot. The other piece is the retainer piece. And that piece goes like this. So this is actually how it's supposed to go in here when you line everything all up correctly. Alright, another phone. Hello. Yeah, what's up? Good.